Hi, I'm Bethany Bennett, and I'll be your health dealer today. Today, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to tell you about me. As an introvert, this is going to be my hardest video, but I feel that if I'm going to be giving advice, you should know who I am, where I came from, and where I'm going. This video is going to be a little bit long, so feel free to save it, bookmark it, and then come back to it later. Also, I'm going to be reading it because if I don't keep myself on track, I will wander off onto side stories and tangents, and given the opportunity to not talk about me, I will take it. So we're going to keep me on track. I hope you don't mind. Are you still with me? Okay. Here we go. I was born in Everett, Washington. That's the state in the U.S. for those not near here. I lived with both of my parents until they divorced when I was 2 years old. Then me and my two brothers lived with Dad. I was 6, and my dad's parties got me and my brothers taken away. I was separated from my brothers and put in a foster family until my mom could come and get me. I don't remember much about it except that I was alone. I was scared, and a mean lady told me I had to take a nap. Well, in my mind, I was a big girl and naps were for babies. I was 6. So I climbed onto the top of the bed, crawled into a ball, and cried until I was told I could come down. My mom came as fast as she could, got me and my brothers, who just couldn't stop raving about how awesome their foster mommy was. Our mom drove us to Las Vegas, Nevada to live with her and her then husband, Paul. Dad eventually got himself out of trouble and wanted his kids back. Marky and Josh jumped at the opportunity, partly because they didn't like Paul. I, however, never wanted to be taken away again. Since Mom had 0 legal custody and no money for lawyers, she had an agreement with my dad that the kids would decide. So at 6 years old, I got on the phone with my daddy and said that I appreciate the brand new kitten, but I wanted to stay with my mommy. All right. Living with Paul wasn't bad. He did what he could, but eventually his gambling became a problem. One Mom, I guess, tried to fix with an affair. I learned about this at 8 because Paul would call me out from my room when he was arguing with my mom and tell me all about it, trying to get me on his side and play the blame Lori game. For those of you not familiar with this game, it's been played by many in my mom's life. Husband, son, and even she's played it a few times. To play, simply, no matter how big or small the problem, issue, or negative effect is, it is somehow entirely Lori's fault. Could be my lack of competitive spirit, or even just love for my mom, but I was never ever good at the blame Lori game. Needless to say, I was not comfortable mediating adult arguments, and Mom leaves them. We move in with Randy, my current stepdad. Happy 21st anniversary, by the way. Well, both were working graveyard at the Stardust Hotel. He was security, Mom was a maid. He got home first, he'd tell me to get ready for school, then he'd fall asleep. Mom got home, and I was late for school. And in 5th grade, I was put into homeschooling. You can't be late for that. I tried. I liked it, but we weren't rich, and when Randy ended up super sick with something that actually put him in the hospital, keeping an eye made things difficult. So Mom called my Aunt Cheryl to watch me, and I think my brothers were back again. They did a lot of back and forth. So the three of us lived in Laughlin, Nevada with Aunt Cheryl while Randy recovered. Aunt Cheryl had a very structured life. Go to work, come home, church on Sunday. In bed by 10 and up super early. At least I thought it was super early. Living in that house was actually the closest to what most people called normal that I've ever actually been. It wasn't bad, but it just wasn't me. Randy got better, but he couldn't work yet. He didn't have a car anymore, and so Randy would walk Mom to and from work, make sure she was safe, because Vegas at night just isn't safe. Least he could do. To my then teenage brothers, it wasn't good enough. And the rest of my family was concerned with my social skills and the homeschooling thing. Part of my homeschooling was religious studies. Christianity, Catholicism, Hindu, Buddhism, Muslim, Judaism. Randy, being my teacher, he liked to compare them to each other. He was born addicted to drugs and then adopted into a Jewish family. So, since I was celebrating Christmas and Hanukkah, Easter and Passover, he decided I should have both a Sweet 16 and a Bat Mitzvah. But to do that, I needed to decide on a career. Start on an apprenticeship and get my social skills that way. I decided on actress. I think they were hoping I'd change my mind because they asked me for a whole year before doing anything about it. But eventually they put me in acting classes. Some community at the local Y, some professional, stage, film, improv. I did it all. But it wasn't paying anything. And money got tight. Mom had quit the Stardust and was working as a cigarette girl. Tips got low, but her boss was opening a kiosk in the Miracle Mile shops at the Aladdin Hotel and Casino. It's now called the Planet Hollywood. I volunteered to work it. I was only 14, but I had parental permission, so it was okay. Plus, when the register broke, I had to figure out 7.25% tax on everything that I sold. That was my homeschooling. Yay! It was a fun job most days, but it closed down after a couple months. The owner wanted a tax write-off, and I was not good at sitting and doing nothing. So it didn't work out. I went back to being home all the time. Once you've had a paycheck, not getting one kind of sucks. A lot. Yeah. However, I didn't get back into working world until I was 16. I sold sunglasses off the back of an old army Jeep. Called it shady business. It was a commission-based job. I love the idea of getting paid for what I sold, plus cash at the end of each day. Awesome! But then I jumped after a couple of months. Then I jumped back. Became a manager, hired Randy. Never, ever, ever, ever hire a parental figure to work for you. Every embarrassing name I have ever had in my entire life was literally used on a daily basis. Don't do it. My mom worked for another commission company selling moisturizer. I eventually joined her. Never actually stayed with any company for really more than a year, if that. And always quit when I had an acting gig, because that was my career choice. After I turned 18, the moisturizing company offered me my own cart. I managed a cart, Randy did, and Mom did. Eventually, I was managing 4 kiosks. 2 that were Mom's. she was focused on selling, one that was Randy's, and one that was mine. Randy was more of my bodyguard, really. For approximately 3 months, I would open the fashion show cart by 8 a.m., then the Miracle Mile at 9 a.m., and I think it was the Tropicana by 10 or 11. Did opening inventory on each one, make sure the seller was there, work on scheduling, help sell if it was busy, then go to the next, periodically interviewing a new hire, bouncing back and forth. Cover breaks, then close the fashion show by 7 or 9, depending on day of the week. Then Tropicana, then finally closing inventory, collect sales sheet, and walk home from the Aladdin anywhere between 10 p.m. and midnight, depending on if there was a concert. Some nights I got out at 1 a.m. It was horrible. At one point, I needed to have a tooth pulled. I think it was that one. I told everyone I would be unavailable. Made sure everyone knew to be where they're supposed to. 8 a.m., I had my oral surgery because local anesthetic just doesn't do anything for my teeth. Got out by 9 a.m. At 10:30 a.m., I got a call. Someone didn't open their cart. So at 11:30 in the morning, I strolled in, opened it up, barely functioning. So drugged up. Got my inventory done, made a couple of sales, and waited for the next shift. I made my rounds to check the others. Inventory was not done. Sales charts off. So off. There was eraser marks all over the sheet. And I have to ask 2 men with about 10 years of college experience between them why basic addition, basic addition, adding and subtracting, was just too hard for them. Yeah, I got out of that. Had to. It was killing me. I decided I didn't want to work that hard, and I got into hourly jobs. While looking into owning our own business with entrepreneurial options, Avon, Melaleuca, stores online, I even tried insurance sales once. I didn't quite get past the testing. Apparently, I'm not a book person. But I kept with the hourly for a while. Even Randy got a job. He, however, has this issue of never saying no. He once worked a double shift. When he was about to clock out, his boss said someone had called off. Can you stay? I think he actually worked 20 hours that day. Came home, and then went back 4 hours later to work his actual shift. When he did finally get a day off, he sucked. Such a jerk. But he's also one of those people that when he doesn't feel good, he wants everyone around him to not feel good. Misery loves company kind of people. I needed a way to make enough money that he wouldn't need to work. Because let's face it, some guys are just better as house husbands. Can I get an amen? Right there. Yes. Women in charge. Right. All right. A friend of mine did suggest stripper. I was young, hot, had an amazing ass. But I said no. Don't want to get naked for a bunch of creepy guys. I guess God had other plans because right around my 2-year anniversary at Godiva Chocolates, I was fired. The only job I have ever been fired from. They decided using a reward point card of one person with another person's purchase is part of stealing. I didn't think so. So I went home and I talked to my parents about being a dancer in the nude. Mom, not so comfortable with the idea, decided she would support whatever I thought was best. I think she was hoping I wouldn't. Randy gave me some speech about keep it professional and the difference between a stripper and a hooker. Don't cross the line. A small reminder that he's a stepdad. Not gonna lie, I was not good at being a stripper. Dancing, teasing, I could do. But the VIP room where all the money was made, that room is fake dating. And for a woman who only dated one person, I was 18, her name was Mika, our song was Ex-Girlfriend by No Doubt. I was not so good at the whole dating thing. But I made enough to squeak by and pay the bills. Mom didn't have to work, Randy didn't have to work, and things were good. Then one day, a guy comes in and sits at the bar. I go up to him. Hey, I know you. No, you don't. We started talking, and suddenly, I'm a great stripper. Teasing, talking, VIP rooms. He wants to know my real name. Well, a few different VIP rooms later, I do tell him. After several more visits, I'm breaking all of my rules. I even fly out to see him. Okay? I skip out on work to see him. I don't skip out on work, especially not when the electric bill is due. That's when I realized I was in love. I had never been in love before. I didn't know what to do, how to act. Then one drunken night, I told him exactly how I felt. Followed closely by, I want a baby. And he was drunk enough to reply, I love you too. Let's do it. Yeah. After we sobered up, we got a morning after pill that obviously didn't work. My kid is 10. So, when I told him my situation, he said, well, okay, I still love you. Let's plan a trip to meet my 3 daughters. He's a fertile guy. So I did. About the time I was showing, I knew I'd get caught tossing the drinks. So I started my exit strategy at the club. New Year's Eve would be my last day. Jeff flew down to surprise me. Yet again, I ducked out of work to be with him. We were in a cab New Year's Eve 2012. He took me to his hotel. I took a shower, and when I came out, he was on one knee. I was in shock. The 10 seconds that it took for me to respond, it felt like forever. I was shocked, disbelief, excitement, joy. I doubted his intentions for asking. I doubted my intentions. And then I nodded my head, kneeled down, and I kissed him. Then he told me he needed a verbal answer. I had to say something. So I said yes. Never went back to dancing after that. Just didn't want to. I did go back to work. I did some samples at Sam's Club for a while, but after my son was born, Jeff suggested that I move to his house in Washington State. I did have my reservations about leaving my parents, but I had to do what was best for my baby. Excuse me. Yeah. Jeff made good money, and for 2 years, I was a stay-at-home mom. Not gonna lie, I didn't love it. Going from being the baby to having a baby, it was really a huge shift in my life. After some time, Jeff's ex decided that she wanted more. Child support went up, and a dry spell at his job. So I went back to work, started in the deli at Safeway. Despite all efforts, we lost the house and the truck and moved in with my in-laws. After living there a year, we all agreed we should never, ever be roommates again. They're great people. Love them to death, but we don't live well together. All right, we worked really hard to get back on our feet, got a small apartment, a small car, finally set a date for our wedding. Even my job was going great. Transferred to checking from customer service, was up for a promotion, and even moved my parents to Washington to help with my babysitting issues. Anyone who's ever needed a babysitter knows all about babysitting issues. Then bad things were happening again. Partly my fault. I was following too closely in bumper-to-bumper traffic, and my car didn't stop like it had the other 15 times. Okay. Instead, it said, "Hey," to the trailer hitch of a half-ton truck. I had a small car. It didn't work out. The truck owner, turns out, didn't have insurance, and as it turns out, I wasn't covered on the insurance of my main vehicle. Figure that one out. But it was still fall, so I walked for a little while before getting a new vehicle. Once I did, I got my promotion. But the rent on our apartment was under new ownership and was going to double by New Year's. I started freaking out. How am I going to pay that much rent, a new car payment, and my wedding was only 8 months away? So I started looking for extra income, refinancing loans, even a second job. But I was already working 40 hours and not seeing my son as it was. I thought there was no solution to this problem. I was stuck, thinking we were going to lose everything again because I wasn't enough. He held up his end. He covered his side. I needed to do more. He didn't think that. That's all my head. That's all me. Just had to clear that because he gets mad when I start telling people that I wasn't enough. And he's like, "You are enough." And I'm like, "No, I'm not." He thinks so. I don't. We don't agree on it. We agree on many, many things. That is not one thing we agree on. Anyway. Where was I? Yep. That wasn't enough. So I cried. I felt helpless, and I prayed for a bit of help. Any bit of help that I could get. Any at all. I decided I would take a break from looking, and then I started to scroll on Facebook. Literally the first thing on my feed. Okay. "Hey everyone, my friend Jessica is looking for anyone who wants to make a couple extra $100 a month." I about fell off my bed. If that wasn't a sign, I don't know what is. Seriously. So I said, me, I want to do this. And Jessica messaged me the whole spiel, We use social media to talk about the business and the products. There's over 30 different products. Weight loss, health and wellness. It doesn't matter what you know now, because I will be with you every step of the way. She has been. She showed me how to post, what to post, and how to grow my network. It seems like easy enough, just go out and say hi to everybody, right? Yeah. It's really a lot more complicated with the Facebook algorithms, and they don't be spamming people stuff, Don't get annoying with it. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it, and I learned how to do that. I can teach anyone else how to do that too. But, my first thought getting into this business was, oh dear, I can barely check my emails. Then I thought, what exactly are the products? So I asked. At the time, there was keto coffee, the ultimate body applicator, just celery, and a hair, skin, and nails that was literally double the keratin and biotin of those other vitamins. Now, obviously, there's actual products. It was not a scam. I was super freaking out thinking it was. But it's not, because scams, literally, they sell you hopes and dreams with nothing to show for it. But I work at a grocery store. Is this going to be a conflict of interest? To be completely honest, I was kind of hoping it would be, because a social media business, much like telling you guys all about me, is so far out of my comfort zone, it's not even funny. But unfortunately, gratefully, actually, I talked with my manager and she said, no, it's not a conflict of interest. So I took money that I was supposed to use for my wedding and I invested it. Sorry, hon. My only regret is that I didn't actually start telling people about the products and the business right away. I waited until I actually had the products, which felt like forever. So, of course, I went into panic mode, thinking, I royally screwed up. I know nothing about the products or the girl I just signed up with. How could I be so stupid? But then my box arrived. Yay! I was so excited. It had the keto coffee, because Skinny Brew wasn't a thing yet. It had both the Super Greens chocolate and berry flavor and the collagen works. And I think 2 of the wraps, but I may have actually just ordered those on my own to try. Anywho, so obviously I'm not a coffee person. So I made my mom be the guinea pig for that. I tried the rest of them. Love the rest of them. Super Greens chocolate was my favorite for obvious reasons. The berry surprised me. And I was so scared that I would actually hate it when I first tried it, but I didn't. I found that the different veggies in the Super Greens mix so well with the supplements that I have taken my whole life, because veggies are gross. I do not like them. But that my body actually absorbed my supplements better because of those vegetables in it. Plus, you mix it with water, which helps with my water intake, which is not really all that good. Now, a quick side note. At Safeway, I was constantly putting pressure on my knees, on my wrists, even my back, from just everyday work, that I literally had to wear braces that I hid, because let's face it, I'm too damn young to feel that damn old. Anywho, I started drinking the collagen works thinking it would make me look younger. It took me a while to realize that I had literally stopped putting on my wrist and knee braces. The realization that they were no longer needed is when I realized I was hooked on these products. They're just amazing, because feeling healthy really is an addicting feeling. Having energy, amazing. It's probably why people get hooked on crack, because I'm awake, I'm alive, I go, yay! But, none of the crack side effects or the, I love my products. Anyway, back to script. This is why I wrote it. Well, between my fiance working overtime, me working as a manager at Safeway, and my side business, I got my wedding paid for entirely. The only residual debt from my wedding was the credit card I used for my bachelorette weekend, because it was a whole weekend. Everything else was paid for either in advance or day of. It was such an amazing feeling. Then I had a brand new problem. My big motivator for working my side business was gone. I needed a new one. I mean, I'm sure I could have stopped and Let it be a served purpose, but how can I walk away from a business like this into all its potential? Okay, so let's set aside for the second the vacation opportunities, like Punta Cana in October. I'm going there. Let go of the six-figure income that has become my new goal. I'm reaching for that 6 figures. And the ability to just be home, which I am loving. I've never actually been a part of a company that not only allows for personal growth and development, but actively encourages it. A reading list of books designed for both business and personal growth, just to start with. Then there's the suggested journaling, meditating, praying, and exercising. The motto is, if it's good for your body and your soul, it's good for your business. And that's why I'm not just an entrepreneur or a work from home mom or a coffee dealer. I am a health dealer. I live every day to help heal myself and those around me through my channel, my business, my own personal development. So, if you're still with me, thank you for bearing with me. Sorry for the reading and the tangents. But I appreciate every one of you who are joining me and following me and allowing me to take this journey with you. I'm Bethany Bennett. Thank you for letting me be your health dealer today.